Today I'm playing through my senior season at Utah, and now that there's a 4-team playoff in Road to Glory, I'm going to try to get the Utes one of those spots and bring a championship home to Salt Lake City. I'll also be attempting to win the Heisman and make the NFL as a 7-foot-tall running back, so I have plenty of goals going into my senior year, and my first game was against our in-state rivals. In the second quarter, I made this short grab and fought for a few extra yards, which set me up for success, and due to the light drizzle in Utah, I was able to slip off of defenders pretty easily as I was racking up the touchdowns. However, I had to watch from the sidelines as my team's defense collapsed against the Aggies in the third quarter, and that meant I had to keep scoring, which I was fortunately able to do. With 2 minutes left, Utah State went up 3, but my team scored when I wasn't on the field, our defense locked up, and behind my performance, we won the Battle of the Brothers. But I had to work hard at practice because the next week, I was playing in the Holy War against number 13 BYU, where I started off with a 17-yard run. And then I made everyone look silly. All the training I put in this offseason to get even faster was really paying off, but with 2 minutes left in the half, it was a tie game, so I was pumped when we took the lead off of this play in the third quarter. It went back and forth all day, but I was having one of my best collegiate games ever, and I sealed the win for us in the final seconds as my 3 touchdowns got us bragging rights. The next week, it was time for the biggest game in my college career because if we didn't win this one, it could ruin all of my goals. USC was ranked as the best team in the country, but that didn't stop me from playing amazingly. Again, I knew that if we didn't win today, I would probably miss the college football playoffs and the Pac-12 championship, so I gave it my all as I finished the first quarter with 2 touchdowns. By the second half, the Trojans still hadn't scored, and I couldn't believe how well we were playing, and this certainly proved that we were legitimate contenders for a national championship as I rushed for over 200 yards, and I could have had more, but my clumsy self tripped over my own feet, so winning by 21 would have to do. That result moved us up to number 5, and poor Marshall didn't stand a chance. I continued to find my way into the end zone, and I was putting in work out of the backfield as well, which kept our undefeated season alive. I had another day of over 100 rushing yards, but after my game ended, I found out my Colts blew a 33-0 lead, so I went over to Fortnite to blow off some steam. My goal was to win my first game, and yes, this video is sponsored by Epic Games. With Chapter 4 just releasing, now is the perfect time to jump back into Fortnite, and on my attempt to get a win, I discovered there was a new map with bigger and better biomes, but it was also 30 to 40% smaller, so that meant more action during Battle Royale matches. I was instantly put into a fight where I got an elimination using one of the new core weapons, the blade-firing Excalibur rifle, and as I explored the map on the all-new dirt bike, I noticed the huge graphical overhaul and the new Unreal Engine 5 that made everything look incredible. I also discovered the new roguelite system, which encourages many different styles of gameplay, but after I got attacked by some random guy where I was fortunately able to escape safely, I hid until there were 5 people left, and then, I don't know what happened here, but my hiding spot got exposed, I couldn't survive, and I was not happy that I couldn't get the win. Anyways, Mr. Beast outfits are now in the Fortnite item shop, so make sure you go play the all-new Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 1 by downloading with my link below, and now it's time to resume my senior season. I got stripped at the beginning of our road game at 3-1 UCLA, but I made up for it showing off my wide receiver skills on third down. At one point during the offseason, Kyle Whittington tried to turn me into a tight end, and even though it didn't work out, I know that I could have been successful if he kept me there. I was more than just a runner, and I showed that against the Bruins, but scoring wise, I was struggling today. With 4 minutes left, we only had 10 points, and I had a chance to break off a touchdown run here, but I got caught, so I was taken out for a quick rest, where I had to watch the backup pull a Jamal Williams, and stuff like that makes it almost impossible to win the Heisman Trophy because I had my worst stat line yet. So I was shocked I was at the top of the watch list. Don't ask me how, but Arizona was a 99 overall team, and I didn't call for the ball here, but Jaquindon Jackson threw it anyway, so that costly pick would put us down 14 at the start. Fortunately, it was only a 1-possession game by the third quarter, but I wasn't playing well or contributing to those scores. This was the first time I actually made a difference on offense for my team, and catching seemed to be the only way that I could do anything against the Wildcats. I hadn't been in for a single one of our touchdowns, and that's because I only rushed for 38 yards today. So if teams were going to sell out to stop me running, I would just catch passes, and I was glad we got the win because I did almost nothing against Arizona. Luckily, I caught a touchdown early on against the Sun Devils, and that helped me build my confidence back up. It seemed like I was being used more and more as a receiver, and I don't know why Kyle Whittington wasn't putting me in here, but I noticed my goal line touches were less than listening. Once I got inside the 5-yard line, I would immediately get pulled for no reason and they'd let the backup run it in. Decisions like that by my head coach could really hurt my chances of winning the Heisman, and so when I finally broke off a touchdown run, I was very pumped until I saw the penalty flag seconds later and I realized it wouldn't count. I just wanted the opportunity to score touchdowns, so I was starting to get very annoyed because there's no reason we should be passing on the 1-yard line. By the fourth quarter, I still hadn't done anything and I wasn't getting any help. But I couldn't let my frustration show to NFL scouts, so I put my head down and kept making big catches. And then my moment came. I finally got my first rushing touchdown in weeks, and I happily watched from the sidelines as our defense held on to secure our 8th win of the year. With 4 weeks left, the Heisman race was heating up, so I needed to destroy Cal, and luckily they hadn't won a game yet this season, so they weren't very good. That showed on one of my first runs of the day as I took it 60 yards to the house untouched, and I kept getting great chances. I was so glad I got some goal line touches, but after one of my worst runs of all time, I was struggling to get up. So I had to watch a majority of the game from the sidelines, but by late in the fourth quarter, I finally felt good enough to go back out there and try to score more as I walked in my third of the day. My team cruised past Cal, and if we went out and beat number 21 Oregon in the snow, we'd clinch a spot in the Pac-12 championship game. I definitely love that coach called a passing play on 1st and goal from the 1, and since I wasn't getting involved in the running game today, I just made sure that I was the best receiver on the field with plays like this, because even when it was 3rd and inches, we were passing the ball. But I guess I shouldn't complain because by the end of the third quarter, we had a 14-point lead on the Ducks. And then after we gave up a touchdown, I responded right back by destroying this Oregon defender and outrunning everybody else on the field for a remarkable 74-yard touchdown. Anyways, once my defense held them with 2 minutes left in the fourth, we sealed our division behind my 202 total yards. Oregon State was a top 5 team, so I was ready to put on a show, as a good performance today could secure the Heisman Trophy for me. On our opening drive, I had a ton of space to the outside and I made sure I got into the end zone, but if you thought that touchdown was good, watch this. I somehow evaded multiple defenders and broke free. From there, it was a foot race and all of my speed training from this summer finally paid off. With my long strides, I was faster than everybody else on the field, and that caused my draft stock to skyrocket. I was projected to be a first-round pick, which is amazing for a running back, and I couldn't be stopped. This was by far the best game I had ever had, as I put up 266 rushing yards while embarrassing Oregon State. And I did the same thing to Colorado. Although I didn't rush for as many yards, I still made just as big of an impact by scoring touchdowns, and on this play, I fought for my third of the night. I carried us to an undefeated regular season and it looked like the Heisman was all mine. After railing Oregon State a couple of weeks ago, I had to play them again in the Pac-12 championship and I was ready to win a conference for the first time ever as I couldn't be stopped. With a little less than 2 minutes left in the half, I watched quarterback Jaquindon Jackson deliver a laser over the top of the Beaver defense and things were looking good for us. So in the end, after my defense sealed the game with this stop, I got to celebrate my first Pac-12 championship ever. I lifted the Heisman Trophy days after that, and I was ready to compete for a national championship. I was playing in the semifinals of the college football playoffs against Houston, and after my team went down 7 early, I responded right back with a breakaway 59-yard touchdown run. I had made it too far with this team to lose now, and I wasn't going out without a fight. I spun out of a tackle here, and from there, I celebrated my way into the end zone because I knew I'd be all over SportsCenter, but I shouldn't have gotten excited so soon because Jaquindon Jackson threw an interception at the end of the half, and unfortunately it would get taken back for 6 and put us down by 14 points. I couldn't believe it, but again, I was not willing to lose after how well I'd played all year, so I got us in the position to make it a 1-possession game here, and then near the end of the third quarter, I did what I did best, breaking off an incredible play with my long strides to tie the game up. Somehow, I got us back in it, but Houston scored, so with 3 minutes left, we were trailing by 4 points. And the play calling was abysmal as this wide receiver screen led to the quarterback taking a sack here, and on 4th down with the game on the line, Jaquindon Jackson threw a check down, so we got eliminated from the playoffs. I felt exactly like Mbappe did after the World Cup final, and I couldn't believe that was how my college career would end, but at least I ended up being drafted in the first round.